gonna be able to use you when Kevin gets ready to get a house? I say, am I gonna be able to use you when Kevin gets ready to get a house?
I guess.
Well, that's gonna be up to you.
I would do, I'd like to do a subdivision too. I haven't rezoned anything since I've been on the council, just the appearance of company.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'd love to work that. It's hard to find anything right now,
Oh, I know it is. I know it is.
especially an
Right.
affordable house.
See, I may end up letting him take our house and so he don't get in a rat race. You know, he works for Procter & Gamble, but you know, the way they've done about this vaccine thing, he went on and took the vaccine. But, and they said he wouldn't have to do no more, but, you know, he didn't want to take that. You know, he's had chest pain and stuff ever since he took it. And,
What about these new companies that are coming in down like Roy Carroll's? Somebody said they had a job there and they only had 16 people show up. So they
Really?
go smoothly, and they hired 15 of them.
really, wow. Well, he's got a good
They're
job.
going from $16 an hour to 25%.
Well, so he makes a whole lot more money. Now, so he's been in Procter & Gamble, he's vested. Kevin's vested, you know. And they were getting ready, they had all this stuff come up, and here he is getting ready to be vested, and he started talking about going somewhere else. And I said, son, anywhere you go, they're gonna be doing that if it's a big company. And here you are vested, you're gonna have to go all the way to the bottom of the ladder. So you better think, cause and they got good insurance and stuff. He's missed so many days for COVID and they paid him. And I'm talking about just because he was around it. And, you know, and it's not he was trying to do it, but they'd tell him, you can't come in. And then he broke his foot that time and was out. And he made as much money sitting at home. And he said, you just don't, you know. I said, you got to take some junk sometimes. If you're gonna work for somebody, you might as well work where they got the benefits.
Yeah, big companies have it.
Yeah.
You know, and as long as you do your job and keep your nose clean, you got a job for life.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And he goes to work on time. He's not late. You know, he's like, you know, he's gonna be early. And that makes showing up that's what Harry Osborne used to say. He said, well, two things you can do. One of them was showing up, and I can't remember what the other one was, but showing up was, he said, yeah, so it might have been it. Showing up sober.
Or drug free.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, every 40
Hey,
minutes, people looking for people to go to work. There's help wanting signs everywhere.
Look at all these restaurants and stuff. If you ain't a mom and pop actually doing the work, you're in trouble. You know, they can't get no food.
Signs saying, buy right, FedEx is hiring, and Coles.
Yeah.
They just can't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as that government money's out there. Yeah. You know, I don't understand.
Governments keep screwing things up.
Well, that's what they do. That's what they do. That's what scares me about this place here. You know that. You know. We've floundered our way so far, so, you know. Oh, man.
That's not gonna work.
Wow.
The new laptops, we're getting a quote. They have to have a special cord or something to connect to that. The only thing we're gonna have
Well.
is that tonight. We're waiting for a quote on that. I was explaining, the TV's not gonna work. We can't do it on TV until we get a quote.
When's Darren? Is Darren actually moving?
He hasn't put his house on.
Oh, well, he ain't going to work. He better go on.
But I've been telling him for 6 months. He's got to do a lot of work on it.
Really? Yeah, yeah. I mean, you never know how long the wave's gonna ride.
Now, from Thanksgiving to about February, not many people typically buy it at one time. It's a good year. Most people wrapped up the holidays and the dead of winter, they don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, fine.
JP, where's your coat and tie?
He's telling the truth. He's telling the truth too.
Are we getting sworn again too? Oh,
If you want to.
we're just dressed up because we're supposed to dress up.
He wants to go to court.
No, I thought everybody was wearing a coat and a tie. That's what,
We don't
Eric
get paid,
said-
do we get paid more if we do?
no.
Derek said, make sure you dress up. And I was like, okay. I just came from work. It's like, I'll put a sweater on.
Yeah, that's all right.
Not much. Rock and roll. Ready to rock and roll?
I feel like my mom. I am not a good one.
What's your order? I didn't think
You
it
go.
This was John's, right?
Absolutely.
Man, you look like a funny.
Well, I wish I would.
Don't you? Smollett just got convicted of every count.
Did he?
Like
That's
seven.
What are they gonna do to him?
I was so worried.
I don't know, that comes.
Hey, Dale.
That's not, that's fine.
Oh, I was worried he was gonna
They
get
ought
off.
to get him for perjury.
Well, I don't know what all they're gonna get. I just saw it, I was flipping the channel and
Yeah,
it
that
was
stuff right there. I bet you there's people dead right now because of that.
Oh, you know they are.
Yeah, people going out.
And
What's
think
up,
of-
bro?
And the other part of it, think of all the beds that we put on that nationwide.
Oh.
Now they are long, find them in the back of the house somewhere.
Yep. Oh, man.
Big.
I got work Kingsley.
Like, yeah, I saw him outside.
They were switched. They,
I know.
you had theirs on
They're
top.
on? How are you?
Well, they were going to switch these. Whichever one, they were just not.
I
on the
know,
same.
I haven't heard either way. I haven't seen Kim Thacker either.
I think he's gonna call them both up at the same time. Make sure. Just make sure they're in the same order. If I told you or not, but they're gonna have to run some cable TV work with the new laptop technology.
There he is.
Hammer.
Looks sharp. Sharp as a tiger's teeth. Timmy,
Huh?
10 spot. I might move over here beside you.
Let him vote first. Move the thing.
Yeah.
So you're in the wrong seat. Put you back in your old seat.
Yep.
Oh, man. Any surprises?
Careful, I think.
Yeah.
Sell that. Offer's daughter.
Okay.
Tell me about
Huh?
back there.
Hey, Miss King. Good, good, good. How are you doing? You got your taste back yet? None?
No, I haven't.
JP. JP.
To see a neurologist.
Really?
Yeah, because I was having, the neurologist was having bad taste in smells. Helping me, you know, like people are tasting, they can't have anything yet to do that.
Really?
But I think they're working on it. But it's, I mean, it's getting there, it's better.
Miss Crawford.
We'll see. It's still nothing, it's still more, it smells like it's supposed to smell, but it tastes like it's
That's great. And that's, how long?
11 months, 20th of this month.
Really?
Because I got COVID, I tested positive for COVID.
What's up, brother? I need to get you that tire set.
No.
Did you get Mr. Albright's gift certificate?
I did.
Right.
It's over there. Mike was gonna present it to him when he's done through the oath.
Is that something that they say is normal as far as, I mean, is that happening to a lot of people?
Got a 27, I think a 5.5. I think that's tough numbers. I don't think that's
Well, I know, I lost mine for just a little bit.
Stuff like it's in there, like it's buried.
Just nothing. But it was just a few days. Karen, I don't know if she got hers back yet or not.
You get your keys.
Yeah, well, I have to get it back. It's a nurse.
Get up with her.
I thought it was just
I
maybe
used
if you
one
inject
for
it,
the,
get it kind of a little bit more
one was
reliable.
down, I had it in the pocket in the
And,
car.
we gotta get the seat, make the seat.
Young man, young lady.
It's just sitting low to me.
Would you like me to receive when you return?
I'll probably bring it up to you, maybe one day and leave it, come up there and just go over it, change the oil.
You gonna do
But
invocation?
I've got surgery Monday in the eye, so I'm gonna be out of service for a bit.
If you're okay, I'll just sign a little form and I tell you.
Just make me a cup.
Robin, I can get you the form.
Well, let's do it next week, because I'll be available after
Yes, sir.
about
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Kim, where y'all gonna let Mr. Ralph sit?
Is he here? Is he here?
No, but he's coming, supposedly.
He can sit right here if we would like to. Is Tom gonna be here?
Tom's here.
Oh, Tom is here, okay.
I think he is, maybe he's not.
I hadn't seen him yet.
I thought,
If he wants to sit, I can move there, he can sit whichever one.
Is that his,
I'd like him to be close to a microphone so people can.
Okay,
is that
I'll
his
make sure that
photo?
I.
Oh, yeah.
Is
Okay.
Kelly gonna come through? Not Kelly. Paige. You talked to her?
I haven't seen him.
All right, well, probably a while, so.
They did call and we made sure we talked tonight. Today.
Do you know if Tom's gonna be here?
He told me yesterday.
when was putting that pool in, Clark? I can get a box
I
set.
must have had it on the table. When I
Probably
pulled
April.
tea from the pitcher.
Back.
Documented it, I need you to sign.
Got to get the permit from the health department. Just a detail.
It's on the press here, we can put.
I don't know about that. They're just attorney stuff. Hey, that's fine. Where's she standing? I don't know if he actually came in or not.
I didn't see him.
Well, he may be sliding in shortly.
Borrowed my buddy's RV and drove up in the driveway the first day.
Do it.
Hey, Clark. That's my RV.
Stuart Albright, Senior Superior Court Judge.
He's the chief.
He said the guy that's the chief is going to retire.
Jimmy,
He
stop.
was next
Is that
up.
a suit?
man.
Hey, suit?
I think he rented it.
You know the sun, you know it's gonna be 73 Saturday. Well, I don't have any money, I'm gonna be at the old folks' place.
You could be in Florida.
Well, I am basically, it's like 79 down here right now, a while ago.
We got a full house. We gotta
I found
take up the collection,
garden
like
right
church.
down there. Had a few skirmishes, but she's still pretty tough. No, I wouldn't either.
All right, we can start now.
These are real.
She's wearing her armor.
You got that drive timed down
It's
perfect.
nothing but snow, and she's in those sleeves.
I don't blame you.
I can't see. Body's pretty good.
82nd Airborne veteran. Well, hang on.
Who is it? Do you know?
Man of the hour.
I may in here.
Hey, I was supposed to wear black. I got the blue on. I'm sorry.
He sent you an email.
It's one after by the regular clock.
He's not here. Yeah. He's on.
Who's the doctor, I guess, I cannot.
Hey, just come on in when you can.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good thing, because you can't.
Typical Tar Heel.
Didn't go on the road.
I know.
Didn't go on the road.
Traffic when you get up on 68.
Sarah Arts in Summerfield across. You remember the old country store there?
If I can have everyone's attention, I'm going to call the December 9th, 2021 regular town council meeting, the town of Stokesdale, to order. First item on the agenda, if you will, stand with me as we do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now I'm going to ask David Bailey, pastor at Crossroads Church, to lead us in an invocation.
Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for the good turnout tonight. Lord, thank you that citizens in this community care about what happens. And we thank you that we can work together to solve problems and to look toward a good future. And Lord, I pray that you would bless us in this meeting tonight with wisdom and direction, that you would let us treat one another with kindness and encouragement, as well as asking the hard questions where appropriate. Thank you for letting us have this forum where we can discuss and make good choices for our community. We do ask your blessings on this community, and we thank you for this season of the year when we can turn our thoughts to the birth of Jesus. Lord, we pray that we would things tonight that would honor you and lift up this community and make this a community an even better place to live. And we thank you for this opportunity. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Jimmy, go get him a chair right out of the.
Mr. Rouse, we'll get
Mr. Rouse, we're getting you a chair.
He's gonna present at the podium, he said.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, review and adopt the agenda. Are there any changes or corrections to the agenda?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I would like to, which one was it? Number 14 just needs to be removed and taken off completely. Unless anybody has an objection.
No objection. That was our intent from last meeting.
Right.
Any other changes? Then I make a motion, we adopt the agenda with that deletion of item number 14. Do I have a second?
second.
Call a question. Mr. Rigsby?
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Jimmy? Aye. Darren? Aye. And aye. Public safety report. Todd, I think I saw you come in.
Evening, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. So our report for the month of November, we ran a total of 79 calls, 48 which were fire-related, 31 were medical-related. So we got a little bit lucky there, given the dry weather and all the amount of brush fires and stuff that has gone on around us. We have been really lucky here in Stokesdale. We certainly do appreciate all of you abiding by the burn ban. And just for information, it is still enacted for our county. Some of the southern counties were released from it, but we were not because we didn't get any rainfall. So thank you very much for following that. A couple of tips as we head into the holiday season, because obviously we want everybody to have a safe and Merry Christmas. And we kind of go over this every year, but it's just a reminder, and I know you'll see a lot of it on TV and other places, but be sure, don't overload your electrical outlets or your power strips. That's very easy to do. If you'll take a look at those power strips, most of them will tell you what the watts are, the volts that they will withstand. And just because it's got 8 plugs, don't necessarily mean you can plug 8 different things into it, because you'll heat it up and burn it up. So check with those. One of the big ones that we tell everybody is if you have a live tree, please make sure that you keep watering it. Those things inside a house, and especially now, even with the low humidity, which is one of the things we've been fighting with the brush fires and all, it will dry out much quicker. So make sure that you do that. And with any tree, whether it's artificial or it's real, just make sure that you keep it away from any type of ignition source. I know that it's cool. It's very nice to have a fire in a fireplace or something like that. If you need to move the tree, skirt around, whatever you need to do to keep all of those instruments away from an ignition source, please do so, because we want to see everybody, as I said, have a very safe and Merry Christmas. Thank you all. Hope everybody does, so I don't have to see you anymore until the January report.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Next item, agenda, administrative reports. Ms. Martin?
I'll get him.
We had 12 meters sold and installed this month. There were 12 applications for transfer of service, 41 meters applications on hold for builders. We processed 81 811 calls, 659 water bills were sent out, and 25 work orders were prepared. We received our new laptops, computers here in the office on February 15th. A couple of days getting those set up. They should be up and running now. Been working with Ms. Robin here, trying to bring her up to speed on the planning board information. As you know, the planning board applications have been sent out to the members, current members, as well as on the town sunshine list. and that's an item on the agenda. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Robin will be attending new clerk school on January 20th. She'll be out of the office all day. And we have been assisting the events committee with the parade coming up this weekend. Hopefully it don't rain.
That's right.
We spent quite a bit of time with TCS, Total Computer Solutions, on the town's Facebook page. The issues have not been resolved, but we're still working on that. Worst case scenario, we'll have to delete it and create a brand new page. We're working with them closely to try to get that done. Several months ago, shortly after I came on board here, you voted to participate in the Piedmont Discovery group. It's a group that Guilford County will promote our parks here all over Guilford County. We're participating in a scavenger hunt, and there's been a banner placed at the park and has a barcode thing on it. And as citizens come through, I think there's prizes and stuff that they can earn if they visit enough parks, but we're participating in that. That's what the banners are in the park. Quickly, the new council has an orientation packet, and we'll talk a little bit more about that with each of you if you'd like. There is an information sheet even for the new council as well as those that are sitting. If you would, please fill that information sheet out and either leave it at your seat or hand it to Robin and I, just so we will have current information that we can put on the website, contact information for each one of you. Emails will be changed over tonight. And the 2 new council members that we have, we'll get with them and make sure they get that set up. Ethics training, the 2 new council members will be required to attend ethics training. We'll work with you on that when that meets your schedule. We'll get you signed up for that. I hope you'll take a chance to look at the orientation packet. It's something I've tried to put together that might help you in making decisions. My goal is to update it as we go along, as new policies and procedures are implemented. Take your books up whenever it's appropriate and update those for you as we go along in the process. Welcome all comments, feedback. Let me know what is in there that's useful, what's not useful, what needs to be added, and we'll improve that as we go along. And I think that's it.
Any questions, Dale?
Thank you.
Let me go back in the agenda, review and approve the minutes of the January 14th, 2021 meeting. Does anyone want those read, or are there any changes or additions to them? Somebody want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes
I'll
as
second.
presented for January 14th, 2021.
Motion, Jimmy second.
Yep. I'm sorry, that was order.
Call a question on that, Jim?
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Jimmy? Aye. Darren?
Aye.
And aye. Do we have anything from the planning board? The events committee?
Yeah, just real quick. It's finally here. We're 2 days away from the Christmas parade. We certainly look forward to it, and starts at 2 p.m. downtown, and everybody pray for good weather, that the forecast improves. But going to be a lot of folks participating this year. It's going to be a really good time. So that's good. We actually have our grand marshal for the parade will be the Lieutenant Governor, Mark Robinson. So I'm sure a lot of folks would like to wave to him and say hello, and that's it. Thank you.
Any report from the property committee?
Okay.
The only thing I've got is, I followed up with Priscilla this week. I noticed we still got a lot of lights out. We talked about that a couple of months ago, and the electrician was behind, and I directed Priscilla to contact them again, and if they can't handle it in the next week or so, to go ahead and move on to somebody else.
Okay.
We need to get these lights fixed.
Okay, next item on the agenda, the finance report from Kim.
Good evening.
Wait, 1 second. Did you have?
I'm sorry, I did forget one important thing. If it does rain, the events committee is going to meet tomorrow night here at 6 o'clock to look at the latest weather forecast, and we'll make a decision as a committee if the weather forecast does not look good. But fortunately, it looks like we're going to be able to have a contingency plan with a makeup date of December the 18th, which is the following Saturday. So We're still gonna do everything we can to have the parade, this coming Saturday, though. Forecast is gonna have to look real bad, but, just wanted to say that.
Okay, Kim, go ahead.
Okay, I'll start with the general fund. We'll start with the Bank of Oak Ridge. Money market account is $23,221.53. The Cedars and Bank of Oak Ridge, we did not renew any in the month of November. We do have a couple coming up next month. The total Cedars are $2,557,607.36. Fidelity Bank checking is $560,187.34. Petty cash is $150. Accounts receivable we have, which is the salaries and FICA for Gary Machunas, is $2,092.59. Water reimbursement total year-to-date is $40,000, not year-to-date, excuse me, that is reimbursable for overhead. Reimbursement is $40,966.56, and then a water expense that's due to general fund is $330. The shared overhead expense total for the month of November is $7,080.37. And I also attached a spreadsheet of the donators, anyone who did the sponsored for the parade, and also the parade. Hold on just a second. Yeah, that's right. The parade events, they paid $25 to be in the parade, and then we have the sponsorships as well. And it's very appreciated for all those of you who did that. And that is all that I do have for the general fund. I'll go to the water enterprise. The water enterprise, Bank of Oak Ridge, total cedars. We did renew one cedar in the Bank of Oak Ridge for the month of November. The total there is $499,429.50. The checking account is $584,460.58. The CRF is that's the Capital Reserve Fund, excuse me, $122,164.23. The North Carolina Management is $522,504.35. Our savings account there is $45,047.25. The accounts receivable for water sales for the month of November, year-to-date, that's for the fiscal year from July 1 through November 30th, is $28,840.30. The total accounts receivable for, which Chris and I had a discussion about this, I think it's on the agenda for something, Dale, about some of the accounts.
Yeah, the water passed due.
Yes, yes. So we're gonna try to hopefully maybe write off some of those receivables that we do have that we feel like we may not be getting. And the salary for Gary Machunas for the month of November that will be reimbursed from the water enterprise account back to the general fund is $510.04, and that does include the FICA. And I think that is all that I have for this month.
Any questions to Kim?
Any questions from anybody?
Let me just thank you, Kim. Starting at about September 1st, she puts in a lot of time and hours preparing the audit for Mr. Rouse, and that's a monumental job. And I just want you to know we appreciate all your hard work and the good work you've done on that. So thanks. Yep. Next item on the agenda, citizens' comments from the floor. Anyone wishing to speak, if you will, come to the podium and give us your name and address, and you have 3 minutes. Seeing no one, presentation of the 2021 Town of Stokesdale audit by Mr. Rex Rouse with Rouse and Gardner. And if you will, Mr. Rouse, come to the podium where we can hear you better with the microphone. Yes, sir.
First of all, if you'll turn to page 1 in the report inside the binder. And then you'll turn on to the report. the first paragraph that we have audited the accompanying financial statements of the town of Stokesdale, the year ended June 30th, 2021, and that, and the notes to the financial statements which collectively comprise the town's basic financial statements as listed in the table of contents. And on page 2, the opinion, in our opinion, based on our audit, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of all the funds of the town of Stokesdale and the respective changes in financial position and cash flows were appropriate, and the respective budgetary comparison for the general fund for the year ended in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. And next, if you'll turn to the comparative balance sheet on the general fund on page 32. Page 32. The fund balance of the general fund, this is the next to the bottom line. It increased from $3,025,450 last year to $3,112,502 this year. So the fund balance in the general fund, the total fund balance in the general fund increased by $87,052. Still on page 32, note that the fund balance available for appropriation, the unassigned fund balance, the third line from the bottom of the page, increased from $2,891,000 to $2,903,000. And if you hold your finger on that page and turn to page 35, the fourth line from the bottom in the second column, the actual total expenditures were $372,016. And the fund balance, the unassigned fund balance of $2,993,857 divided by 372,016 equals 8.05 times. So that's 8 years fund balance that you have available. This unassigned fund balance would provide for 8 years. The statewide average is about 46% of the general fund, about 6 months the average town has. So the fund balance in the general fund is well above the state average. The town of Stokesdale unassigned fund balance last year, a year ago, June 30th, 2020, amounted to 5.71 times the 2020 general fund balance, general fund expenditures. So you improved from 5.71 times to 8.06 times, which is a tremendous improvement. On page 33, the next page, the budgeted revenues, the budget is in the first column. The budgeted revenues, the total budgeted revenues at the bottom of the page were $428,903. And the actual revenues in the second column at the bottom of the page, $459,068 for a favorable variance. The actual revenues exceeded your budgeted revenues by $30,165. The actual revenues were up from the prior column. The prior year is in the fourth column, the last column. The actual total revenues in the prior year were $428,230. And so the revenues were up significantly over last year. And notably, there is no ad valorem tax for the town of Stokesdale. And to accumulate this much fund balance without a property tax, in a lot of respects, I think that the town of Stokesdale is an exemplary town for other towns to follow and model after this. It's mostly due in thanks to the preceding boards that you've had in the town of Stokesdale has been very conservative and able to accumulate this balance without a tax rate. On page 35, the budgeted operating expenditures totaled $428,903. You have a balanced budget. The actual expenditures were $372,016 for a favorable variance of $56,887. The actual expenditures were $56,887, less than the budgeted amount. Actual expenditures for the previous year, for the year ended June 30th, 2020, were $506,147. So actual expenditures in the general fund were down by $134,131. Or the actual expenditures in the general fund were down 26.5%. There was a significant change in methodology this year in that the proprietary fund, the water and sewer fund, reimbursed the general fund by $139,757 for the year. And that reimbursement was for administrative costs paid by the general fund. On page 34, the general government salaries at the top of the page were up from $2,362 to $121,559. And accounting fees were down from $39,132 to $14,136 as the finance officer was moved from contractual labor to salary. On page 34, the downtown improvement project was down from $23,328 to $0. And then on page 35, building maintenance page 35, building maintenance was up from $3,073 to $58,804. And capital outlay, town park, was down from $24,037 to $0. Property and grounds were down from $95,071 last year to $0 this year. I think they're the highlights of the changes in the expenditures of the general fund. Now we're going to compare the balance sheet of the water and sewer fund, and that's on page 36. The unrestricted cash balance, this is the first line, the unrestricted cash balance increased from $1,500,966 in the last column to $1,537,148 in the first column. And restricted cash increased from $29,775 to $87,936 as you started restricting money in the capital reserve fund. The capital assets net of accumulated depreciation decreased from $2,909,656 to $2,821,826. And the total debt in the water and sewer fund increased from $54,328 to $58,662. Almost no debt. That's very little debt for water and sewer for a town this size. The water and sewer fund owed the general fund $15,175 at June 30th, 21. And that was down from $24,374 at June. The water and sewer fund income statement is found on page 37. Warden Sewer Fund operating revenues amounted to $577,565 this year, compared with $457,783 last year, an increase of $149,782 or 26%. You had some increase in the rate from the city of Winston-Salem, and you increased your rate significantly. It was a much-needed increase. As you showed a significant loss last year, but you showed a small profit this year. On page 37, total operating expenses increased from $541,000, this is about the middle of the page, $541,914 last year, it increased to $573,234 this year, an increase of $31,320 or 6%. On page 37, the net income this year amounted to $7,704. That's a small profit for this year, and last year you had a loss of $67,940. So that rate increase that you had was effective in eliminating that loss, enabling you to show a small profit where you should be. Depreciation expense amounted to $116,712 this year, compared with $116,237 last year, about the same. Going on to page 29. Page 29 shows the capital assets, changes in capital assets. And the total capital assets at the beginning of the year was $2,059,295, and at the end of the year it was $1,975,516, and that's caused almost entirely by the depreciation expense for the year, which was $84,329. The town has no long-term debt, and the town levies no property tax. So I think the financial position of the town of Stokesdale is very sound. Are there any questions related to the financial statements? There are no questions. There are two letters that are inserted in the front of the report. One of them is a governance letter, and I think the key point of the governance letter is at the top of the second page. The governance letter starts off, we have audited the financial statements of governmental activity. At the top of the second page, I state, difficulties encountered in performing the audit. We encountered no significant difficulties in dealing with management and performing and completing our audit. And I also have a management letter. There are 3 items in the management letter. The first item I have in all the small towns and small not-for-profits that are audit, because of the limited number of personnel employed by the town, it is not practical to have an adequate separation of duties. The internal controls for the disbursements are stronger because of budgetary controls and independent dual signature check signing requirement. Also, a person independent of cash collections and bank reconciliations, post cash receipts and collections to the general ledger. We would suggest that the mayor or a designated town council person download the bank statements each month and review the bank reconciliations every month. Although the second item, although some improvement was noted, 15 adjusting entries were required in the general fund and 16 adjusting entries were required in the water fund to bring the financial statements into accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Finance officers should carefully review all the adjusting entries this year and gain sufficient understanding of them so that this does not occur occur in the future. Expect to have some journal entries. Rule of thumb, I would accept 10 journal entries as the number, the goal that I like to shoot for. I didn't read that 10 out of a prayer book or anything, but I think 10 is a good goal to shoot for each fund. Also, one account was not properly reconciled to the general ledger. We suggest that the third item, we suggest that the finance officer enforce offered by the Institute of Government and the local government commission with his ultimate goal of eventually becoming a certified finance officer. I think the best money the town could spend is in doing that. And there are 5 courses now that you can take to become a certified finance officer. It used to be 3. Each course takes approximately 1 week. But I think that should be the ultimate goal. And I would like to see the town send to this school. A lot of it's done online now, so it's good. Any questions? I'm gonna give particular thanks to Kim and Priscilla for all the assistance they gave me these years. You were right when you said there was a lot more work in preparing for the audit in this month. And I appreciate it very much. Appreciate the effort and the improvement that was made by Kim and the duties. I want to wish everybody here a Merry Christmas.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Rouse, it looks like all our revenues were up, our expenses were down, our cash reserves increased significantly, and basically what that means, if we didn't get any income at all for 8 years, we could operate the town with the money we have in cash reserves. Is that correct? Okay. So you, obviously, you've given us a good report.
Right.
Yes, sir. Have you sent that into the state already?
Yes, and they
That's what I thought. I just want to verify that. Okay, thank you, Mr. Rouse, for all your time and effort. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, acceptance of the municipal election for the town of Stokesdale held November 2nd, 2021. And basically, that just shows that Mike Crawford won as mayor and Tim Jones won as the member of town council. Were you going to read the votes or anything like that, or
Please, a motion.
just a motion to accept it?
Please.
I make that motion that we accept the results of the November 2nd election.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the question, Jim?
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Aye.
Darren? And I. Passing of the gavel and swearing-in ceremony of newly elected council members. I want to welcome a very special guest. He's been coming every 2 years for a very long time. Superior Court Judge, the Honorable Stuart Albright. He's going to administer the oath. So, Mike, were you going to start first?
Yes, sir.
I know you have the whole Bible for you, is that right?
Jerry, get his sleep.
You place your left hand on the Bible. You'll raise your right hand and just say, I do, and ask you the questions. Do you, Michael E. Crawford, solemnly and sincerely swear that you will support the Constitution and laws of the United States? Do you? And do you solemnly and sincerely swear that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof? And do you solemnly and sincerely swear that you will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution and laws of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of your knowledge and ability? I do. Do you, Michael E. Crawford, solemnly and sincerely swear that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office as mayor? So help you God. I do. Congratulations. we'll sign that after this is over with. That's fine. That works for you? Okay. All right, Mr. Jones. Councilman-elect Jones, please come forward.
Ms. Gals, why don't you hold the Bible for us? You're already up. You're already up. Come on.
No, go ahead.
All right. You just stand beside him on this side over here on the left side. That way you place your left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand. Okay. Please answer my questions. Do you, Tim Jones, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution and laws of the United States?
I do.
And do you solemnly and sincerely swear that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof? And do you solemnly and sincerely swear that you will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution and laws of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of your knowledge and ability?
I do.
And do you, Tim Jones, solemnly and sincerely swear that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office as town councilman for the town of Stokesdale, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations.
Mike, if you and Tim want to come, you can take a seat at the podium.
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful. Thank you to Mayor Flint. I appreciate everything. You've always been decent to me. Congratulations to the new mayor and the new councilman. I appreciate Stokesdale. Y'all have always treated me, I'm a foreigner, but y'all treat me like I grew up out here. So in any event, thank you for letting me come. And I know I'm not quite done tonight. Thank you very much for the card, and I'll wait until you need me again in the back. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, brother.
See ya. Bye. Take care of yourself. See you in the book.
Thank you. Come ahead. Don't get far.
Hey, Mike, I'll pass the gavel to you. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you, John.
You want your pad?
No, I'm good. That's your good.
Congratulations. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah. We'd like to recognize Theron and John just before they get away, if we could. And being new to this, Tim, you did a great job on the audit. You just did a fantastic job on the audit.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay. If y'all don't mind, I'm gonna come around. I guess I get to do that, don't I? You did now.
That 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Whereas Theron Hook Jr. has served the town of Stokesdale and its citizens as mayor pro tem for the past 4 years, whereas the town of Stokesdale has been fortunate to have had the services of Mr. Hook, who has provided leadership and rendered judgment for the betterment of the citizens of the town. And whereas Mr. Hook has served on local and regional committees representing the town of Stokesdale in an able and professional manner. And whereas the town of Stokesdale, its employees and its citizens extend a sincere thanks to Mr. Hook, knowing that he will continue to be active in the community in many ways and other endeavors. And whereas it is the desire of the council of the town of Stokesdale to recognize and honor Theron Hook Jr. for his dedicated contribution to this community. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved by the council of the town of Stokesdale that this resolution of appreciation be presented to Theron Hook Jr. in an acknowledgement of his service and his interest in good government in Stokesdale and the state of North Carolina, adopted this 9th day of December in the year of our Lord, 2021. Whereas John Flint has served the town of Stokesdale and its citizens as the mayor for the past 4 years. Whereas the town of Stokesdale has been fortunate to have had the services of Mr. Flint, who has provided leadership and rendered judgment for the betterment of the citizens of the town. And whereas Mr. Flint has served on local and regional committees representing the town of Stokesdale in an able and professional manner. And whereas the town of Stokesdale, its employees and its citizens extend a sincere thanks to Mr. Flint, knowing that he will continue to be active in the community in many ways in other endeavors, and whereas it is the desire of the council of the town of Stokesdale to recognize and honor John Flint for his dedicated contributions to this community. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved by the council of the town of Stokesdale that this resolution of appreciation be presented to John Flint in acknowledgement of his service and his interest in the good government in Stokesdale and in the state of North Carolina, adopted this day of December, this 9th day of December in the year of our Lord, 2021.
Thank you, Mayor.
We got one more we'd like to recognize too, Mr. Bill Jones. Whereas William N. Jones has served the town of Stokesdale and its citizens as a council member from 2015 to 2019, and whereas the town of Stokesdale has been fortunate to have had the services of Mr. Jones, who has provided leadership, rendered judgment for the betterment of the citizens of the town, whereas Mr. Jones has served on local, regional committees representing the town of Stokesdale in an able and professional manner, whereas the town of Stokesdale, its employees, and its citizens extend a sincere thanks to Mr. Jones, knowing that he will continue to be active in the community in many ways and in other endeavors. And whereas it is the desire of the council of the town of Stokesdale to recognize and honor William N. Jones for his dedicated contributions to the community. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved by the council of the town of Stokesdale that this resolution of appreciation be presented to William N. Jones in acknowledgement of his service and his intent and his interest in good government in Stokesdale and in the state of North Carolina, adopted this 9th day of December in the year of our Lord, 2021. Go right ahead, Darren. Go right ahead.
I'd like to recognize someone here that's been with us for a period of time. He's been available over the years, or months, and I guess years, and he's given us excellent legal advice. And a single one of us had to be bonded out yet.
Yeah.
And there's not been a single one that has pled guilty to a man in a black robe in this area. So we are blessed with that. I'd like to thank our attorney. We call him Tom, and he is there when we need him, and he's still there when we don't need him. We just don't know him. So, thank you, sir.
I'd like to suggest we take a recess for those people who are here just for the ceremonies. So if you want to leave, you certainly may.
Could I just say a couple words, Mr.
Well, I'll
Mayor?
go right ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to recognize, and say a few words about all these guys. It's definitely been interesting. I remember when I first joined council a couple of years ago, John is great with the water system. He's very knowledgeable. That's definitely been his passion. And I remember him saying how important it was to see the water system in the black. And Mr. Rouse didn't go over this, but and certainly a lot of folks before John, contributed a lot of this too. But when you take into account depreciation in the previous year before this past fiscal year, the water system, has operated in the red. But, that was one of John's big goals. I think he said, before I leave here, we want to get this thing in the black. And sure enough, it did operate in the black this year. So, John, congratulations on that. I know how hard you worked on that. And, Theron's done a lot of great work. He's got a ton of governmental experience, experience that really came of value to the town maybe 3 years ago when we had a water main break on Highway 58. Theron was able to work with his contacts he's had in a previous life, and we were actually reimbursed for that money from FEMA, and Theron played a significant role in that. So these two guys, we have a lot to be thankful for what they serve the town. Also, we also recognize Bill tonight. Bill actually served for the town for about 7 years and 9 months. I take it he was planning to leave after his term in 2019, but he sold that nice, beautiful house in Dorset Downs, and when he sold it, he moved to Kernersville and obviously had to give up his seat. But Bill's also had a career in public service and very knowledgeable for the town, and he's got that. Despite that gruff surface, that might come off at first, Bill is one of the kindest guys that I've ever met, and has always been extremely kind to me in my 2 years on council, and very helpful. And the town of Stokesdale is lucky to have all these guys in their service. So just thank you all.
Before we take a break, let's do the nomination for Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Derek Foy for Mayor Pro Tem.
Is there a second?
Second.
Let's take a vote, Jim.
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Aye.
Derek? Tim?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
That was quick.
If it's okay, let's take a little bit of a recess right now. We're holding,
Well, hold on, let.
swear him in, please.
Yeah,
Come
go
up,
for
Greg.
it.
All right, Councilman Ford, if you'll stand over here, we'll do like we did last time. If you hold the Bible in your left hand, that way I got it ready to go. If you raise your right hand, please. Do you, Derek Foy, solemnly and sincerely swear that you will support the Constitution and laws of the United States? I do. And do you solemnly and sincerely swear that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof? I do. And do you solemnly and sincerely swear that you will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution and laws of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of your knowledge and ability? I do. And do you solemnly and sincerely swear that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office as Mayor Pro Tem for the town of Stokesdale, so help you God? I do. Congratulations.
Now let's take a recess.
We got a photographer here.
Oh, do we?
I said I'm back. You know who this is, y'all? Rover. Yeah, Rover. Y'all being sudden and now.
All right, young ladies, so we're gonna sign everything. Are you good with your congratulations? We good? Really appreciate it. Anybody else will leave your they help print them all off in that way. Coming out here, we got the address, we got the time, we got everything. Appreciate it. My pleasure. Merry Christmas to you.
I know, I told you. I think we did.
Yeah, we did, but it's okay.
Sorry. Things happen. No, anyway, things happen. Sorry. Can I go ahead and give my Mayor? Yeah, we need to
All right, Jimmy makes me look bad. Hold on, where's the mayor? Mayor's right here. Mayor, I'm in your way right here. Cheese. Everybody give me cheese. All right, thank you. Congratulations again. Thanks for having me out. Good to see you. Thank you for the email and get it all sorted out.
We have Grace told me she was supposed to put a lemon on her desk.
Finance officers in there. Great, get in.
Well, somebody's gotta take the pictures. We're taking pictures. Dale? They want the ladies in. No, come on, Dale. Robin? Robin? No, you're part of it.
I can send you the photos.
We'll get them. You're part of the team. Get in here.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to do
right now.
Coffee?
Thank you, though.
Okay, coffee, water, snack, maybe a cupcake?
That's what they were saying. I'm
Derek, you
coffee.
sweets are around. Derek, you be
I am.
Derek.
This is
Cupcake,
that a remote control of some kind?
you turned it down? You turned it down? Really?
What is it?
Clark got his Christmas bonus, he's put the pool in.
Sir?
Who's helping the other two out of the building? They went to the area. No, I thought that was most flattering.
We all look
All right, now we've got. Well, thank you, Randy. Thank you. Yeah.
Congratulations, good luck to you guys.
I hope somebody's watching the silverware. Tom, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Look forward to working with you.
Yeah, me too. So when you're putting together the agenda and stuff, if you see anything that's got, you may have legal questions or potentials, call me. We'll try to work it out ahead of time so that.
Do we have a card available for you? Do you have one? Is that out front? Is it out front? I can get it if it's out front.
I know they've got it.
Yeah, if they're out front, I'll get one of those.
Just email me or if you have questions about anything.
Okay.
Just shoot me.
Fair enough.
No problem.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. Look forward to working with you again.
Oh, man. Like a bad
We used to do cat work.
Hey, Patty. Left, have I? Oh, boy. I tell you, he left it warm. Imagine Bruce will, I would think. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Have to make out without me. Yes, ma'am. What would you like?
I really like it. It stayed on track and it.
Well, I appreciate that coming from a man such as yourself.
All right, bye, Jimmy, bye, guys.
Nah, thank you. Hey.
Jimmy, you soaking them all up.
Hey, man. That's the only thing life's for. At my stage.
Where's Jim? You're gonna replace me right here, all right?
Yep.
Jimmy,
Yeah, man.
you asked to have number 14 struck.
Yeah, it's off.
Has it been taken care of?
It's off the agenda.
I understand that, so it's
It's
not a
history.
point of.
Yeah, well, knocked it down. We're gonna have to knock it down. Matter of fact, there's still some stuff up there for us, like some BS.
Yeah.
We got, it's taken care of.
Okay, that's what I was concerned about.
Well,
Seemed to be a major concern for the ladies,
What, just then?
just in conversation with them when I was here for the, last couple of days I've been here.
Oh, yeah. He ain't been here lately, cause I knocked it down.
Okay, good, good. Will it be back?
Well, yes,
He remediated it.
it will, but they're gonna have to be knocked down again. It'll eventually go away.
I got you,
But, yeah.
Where's Big Jim?
I want it now. It was just a common sense solution.
Makes sense.
Sometimes you overlook them, you know?
Where's Big Jim?
Make a statement, let them know we're gonna start on time.
Folks, I'd like to start the meeting back again.
Hold on. We're missing one.
Anybody got any ideas?
We'll give them a minute.
We lost one.
Yeah, we did. Is he eating cupcakes?
Does he realize he?
I think.
Are you eating cupcakes, Jim?
No, I'm just discussing some financial business.
Oh, okay, all right.
It was one of those lollipops. Cake pops is what they're called.
Okay, let's get back on this agenda. The item number 13 in old business is consideration of the proposal from Stokesdale Heating and Air Conditioning to replace the HVA units in Town Hall. This was continued from the 9th meeting. The unit we have is a York unit, we do know that. Do we have any numbers on this? Derek, what do you got?
Well, Mike, we have two options to replace the units. One option is $22,215. And the second option is $20,450. Just kind of to share some back history, I think there's 5 or 6 units, Randy probably knows the best, up there on the roof, and we've had to replace 2 of them in the last about 18 months, and we've got 2 that have gone bad. It's not too bad right now, but it's also not July right now. I think it's wise to go ahead and get them replaced before the heat. I don't think it's pressing we do it tonight. If you or Tim would like to, ask questions of, Stokesdale Heating and Air, the installer, I know Tim's got a wealth of knowledge there. I'm happy to continue this.
Yeah, this is a big expenditure, and I really don't like dropping it in these 2 guys' laps first meeting.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion to continue this until January.
Is there a
I'll
second?
All right.
Let's call the vote. Jim?
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye?
Tim? Aye. I also. New business. Consideration of resolution approving the 2020 local water supply plan. This is state approved already, or state accepted already.
Ms. Martin, this is a document that you got and added to the agenda. It's my understanding that this is administrative in nature. We're not committing to any,
That's correct. You are
Okay.
required every 5 years to submit this report.
Okay.
It was submitted back in January or February of this year. The state asked for minor clarification items. Those were submitted, and now we're required to adopt this resolution accepted. With all the state requirements, they have accepted it, and this is just a formality.
I pulled it up on the internet, and it's just a lot of questions that,
Is that what you have in your hand?
Yeah, let's see, I've got that's a water shortage plan, that's it right there. I mean, it's,
I don't believe I've seen it.
it's pretty cut and dry. It's on the internet, and it took a while for me to get it pulled up, but I finally got it. It's not anything I'd be uncomfortable voting on. It's just a lot of questions, what we do.
Ms. Martin, do you have the title page of the resolution?
The title page, there's just
Well,
one page.
This is the resolution?
No, the resolution's in the packet.
All right, I'm just missing it sorting through.
Yeah, the resolution's in the packet. It's on the back page of the resolution R2021 dash, was no dash.
There's a letter from
Yep.
Linwood Peel, supervisor from the state.
This is it.
Yes,
Yep.
Okay,
It's on
thank
the
you.
back.
I was,
back of that is the resolution.
Is this something that, is there a timeline on this?
It's every 5 years.
No, I mean, like, does it have to be done tonight if they feel uncomfortable, if they haven't seen it? Is it a timeline that has to be voted on tonight, or?
I'm sorry, Belinda, I do not know.
Okay.
I'm not that familiar with this report.
So nobody sent you a deadline letter or anything, so?
I can certainly ask Mr. Peel.
Yeah.
I do not know the deadline, that's a formality. You are required, I believe, to submit the plan has to be filed in June of each year.
Right.
So
Right.
every year will, or not each year, every 5 years.
But ours is already filed,
Been filed, it was filed back.
and it just needs to be certified by us.
Well, they've already certified it, they've accepted it. This
Yeah.
is a formality saying,
Mr.
you, that the hell is.
Right.
Mr. Mayor, if, I would ask for about a 3-minute pause and just let me read this, and I think I'll be okay with it.
All right.
And you guys want to see this? I should have got everybody a copy. You got it? Yeah, you can. Get up there.
Mr. Mayor, I'm good. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution. Is it Resolution R-2021? Is that all? It's got a dash there. So I don't guess anything goes in.
It will be numbered if you approve it tonight.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Jim Rigsby second it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
For the record, let me read this in.
Okay.
Resolution R-2021, approving local water supply plan. If you'll accept that as an addendum, Jimmy.
That's fine. I accept that.
Jim?
Okay.
Call the vote.
Second.
No, you did.
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye?
Tim?
Aye.
I also.
Well, that's good. Get to that.
Health insurance for full-time staff members. We have the information on that. I just saw it.
We do. Mr. Mayor, this is my agenda item. I'm going to end up continuing it because it's not because I feel bad about dropping this on you on your first day, but have spent some time working with the League of Municipalities and Blue Cross and Blue Shield, trying to determine what the best value is for the town, whereas we can also offer health insurance for our full-time staff. This is something I do fundamentally agree with. We currently do not offer this with a full-time staff. However, I'm not going to present to council at this time. I'm going to continue it to the next meeting, and a lot of credit here goes to Ms. Martin. When she saw the paperwork that I had put together, Ms. Martin said, I think the town can even get a better price for the cash outlay for the town, but also a better value for our full-time associates. And she reached out to one of her contacts, and I had a good conversation with her. So at this time, I do not have anything to present to council. This will be continued as I do feel strongly about it.
Okay.
So
Motion, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to continue this to the January meeting.
Can I have discussion on it?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
So on your sheet here, you've got the Blue Cross Blue Shield options, and then I'm assuming the League of Municipalities. Are these your final options, or are you expecting more quotes than this?
No, I think the direction we may be going to, based off Ms. Martin's feedback and also feedback from Human Resources Director with the City of Kernersville, is that we might be looking into a better plan that would better suit the town if we went through a reimbursement policy for these ladies that have their own health care coverage. I just need to work with Ms. Martin on this and put together a better plan than this. This is one of my classic 45-page documents,
I
but
saw that. I was just curious if you
for all
had
intents and
additional
purposes, you can
stuff on that.
cycle
so.
it. But anyway, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Do we have a second for the continuance?
I'll second continuance.
Jim, let's call a vote.
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Aye?
Tim?
Aye.
And I also. Okay. Discussion on the retirement or planning board, excuse me. Discussion on the recruitment of planning board members. We've got, Dale, how many applications do we have right now?
Skipping one.
17, please.
Did I skip 7? Oh, sorry about that. Discussion on policy for collection of delinquents' water accounts.
Council discussed that a little bit last year. In your packet is a list of the delinquent accounts. I'm sorry, yes, it's probably the last page of your packet there. We need some direction on his limits. A homeowner, their deposit is $50. Renter, their deposit is $175. My understanding, we don't have a policy at this point. If a homeowner gets behind on their bill, where do we cut that off? Is it at that deposit amount? Is it some other amount? You wanna do it per month, and I work with Tom to draw up a legal document for that. We need some direction from you all to do that. I don't think it's a big problem now. I think Priscilla has done an excellent job at trying to collect some of that. But we do have a couple that, several $1,000s the town hopes to collect, but we may not be able to. We have, put some information together about a debt set-off program that's sponsored by the League of Municipalities. We have to have, social security numbers, other information that we have not been collecting to be able to collect through them. So we have changed our application and included that information, and here forward we'll have that. Unless you just, there's not a policy from what I understand at this point. So we think there probably should be, and so we want to throw it out to you all. There's been some discussion. We had a case last month where we have the property owner that wants their meters removed. That bill is $400 or $500 off. So we just need some direction on how you do it.
So what you're talking about doing a policy for a cutoff?
Yes,
So we have no policy in place for a cutoff?
my understanding. I am by no means knowledgeable about water. Just conversations I've had with former Mayor Flint and Priscilla. Their understanding that we don't have a definite policy on that.
Looking at the aging amounts, I'll just throw something out there to get the ball started. I mean, my water bill runs about $65-70 a month. So 3 months I think would be reasonable to cut somebody off, which would be about $250, you know, and I think $250 keeps us a lot less than most of these right here. You know, I just throw it out there, maybe set a limit around $250. That's about 3 months worth. If they hadn't caught up in 3 months, they're probably, you know, not gonna pay it by then.
That would be a good number for, because the deposit's what, 175? That's for renters, right?
Renter, homeowner is 50.
Right.
We used to not have them prove that, but we have put some things in place that they have to prove whether they are a homeowner or a renter. We've had someone tell us they were purchasing a house. Turns out that was not the case. We didn't have any proof other than their word. And that's one of the high delinquent bills that we have.
Tim,
Turns out
You ought to
it
make
was
them
a-
sign a statement. I mean, that would be fraud if you come in here and, you know, did that under
That's what we,
false pretenses.
correct.
Tim, you got a lot of experience up here. Do you recall in the past of any kind of policy that may have one time been in place or that we just can't locate?
Yes, sir, I do. It was, I think, front and back of one sheet of paper. I cannot remember how it was titled. The three of you that were already on cancel, if none of you remember voting to cancel that policy or modify that policy, it would still be in effect. And maybe it's just lost in the building.
Okay. Well,
Mr. Medlin, if we picked a number tonight and voted to disconnect those water, let's say the water accounts that are over 90 days past due, and then we discovered that the policy that we've already passed we're in conflict with, would we have a problem, or would the vote tonight override the existing policy?
I do think that the vote tonight would override the existing policy. I don't think I don't see a problem legally, if it was different before. I think you have the right, you know, when somebody doesn't pay their water bill, you've got the right to turn off the water. You know, you're just setting the town policy and guidelines, but think somebody can use that as a defense in court when they didn't pay their bill, you know, for why their water meter should have been turned on.
I tell you what, let's do this. I'd like to make a motion to continue It's Christmas. Even Timmy doesn't want to cut off anybody's water bill in December before Christmas.
Tis the season. We need, I agree with continuing, but let's get an actionable item, a follow-up. Let's assign 2 council members to work with staff, maybe dig up what we've had in the past. You know, if we don't have, and work on a new policy. If we don't have it for January,
We can
need
do
something.
that without having to take a vote, can't we?
Yeah, but I mean,
That was my intent. Maybe I can find, if I can possibly remember what time period it was done, I can find it in my own records perhaps and bring it to town hall, and that will help Miss Martin locate it either in the computer or in the hard files.
I'll be happy to work with you on that.
Also, maybe just look and see if other towns do a monetary amount or a, like 90 day, you know, anything over 90 days. I just think that either 3 months, 90 days, or 3 bills is kind of the limit where I like to be at.
I think your number's right spot on, whether they do it anywhere else in the world. Your number's good for me.
I mean, we're never gonna be perfect, but I guess it's within $75 as a deposit on a renter, which we can certainly is a lot less than we've lost in the past. And I don't know that homeowners are gonna be as much of a problem, because we could recoup that, hopefully, in most cases. So, yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion to continue it.
I made a motion to
Oh, you already
continue.
made it? We are second it?
Got a motion to continue in a second?
Second, if it hadn't been done.
What's your vote, Jim?
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Huh?
Jim?
Aye.
And I too. Okay, let's get to the one I tried to get to earlier. Discussion on recruitment of planning board members. Dale, how many applications do we have? 2?
3.
We have 3 applications.
3 now.
Okay, and there are 5 positions on that board, right?
There's actually 10 members.
Actually 10?
There's 10. There's 5 regular sitting members and 5 alternates.
Okay.
Do we have a list of that, of the people that's on now?
Yes.
We have a list.
I can go get that for you.
You know, as far as people having to redo the applications that's already on there, you know, if we've already got an application in-house,
Yeah.
I just don't see the need to make somebody else do it. I know a couple's probably already done it, but if there's an application in-house, we have a hard enough time getting applications
I would think
to start with. I mean, I remember when I filled mine out the first time. You know, it's one of those things I don't feel like you do. I mean, that's up to council. We do need to, of course, Tim sitting up here, we do need to replace 1 member at least tonight.
That's a good point.
So I'd like to, unless there's an objection, I'd like to nominate Steve Louie to take Tim Jones's place. Steve is he's been the past chairman several times. He's got lots of experience, and we do need experience.
And he's currently an alternate.
He's currently an alternate, and his application would be on file. So
I'll second the motion.
replace that spot so we can have our next meeting.
Do we know if he's completed the
Yeah.
necessary stuff?
Yeah, he's an alternate. He's a working alternate. He was actually he sit with me
Okay.
on the planning board. You know, I came off a couple of years ago.
Mr. Louis has not sent us any indication that he wants to or does not want to be
I
reappointed.
spoke to him.
Okay, all right, great.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's call for the vote. Jim?
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Huh?
Tim?
Oh,
Aye.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I need to make a amendment here,
Okay.
so I want to back up.
All right.
I want to appoint him for 2 years as of the next meeting.
Okay, all right. That is one of the things I think needs to be done.
We're going to have to stagger.
They need to be staggered.
Yeah, we'll need to stagger. Miss Dale said something about that. We need to stagger 2 or 3 of them for a year.
I
But
believe,
I wanna put that in my motion.
Okay, so the motion is, Mr. Lewis
Mr. Louis.
Louis.
Stephen Louis,
and for a term of 2 years.
as a term of 2 years.
Is there a second on that?
I seconded the motion. I will accept the amendment.
Attaboy. Jim?
Aye.
Derek? Jimmy?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And I also. It's gonna be a fun 4 years.
2 for me, brother.
Okay. The whole point of this is we do need to recruit some people for this planning board. So in your conversations with folks, we need some active members for the planning board to fill it up. My suggestion would be, these members are gonna retire, their current tenure expires the end of this month. Am I correct?
January.
My suggestion is, until we can fill the spots, we ask the current members to continue in those positions.
Well, we've got the current members. I mean, you know, what do you guys think about it? You know, you've got members that are not, that probably will just, will stay on. I mean, that's kind of the way it's been.
Right.
You'll get some applications and you'll put somebody in. You want some people on there that's got some experience. And it's nice to have it. I know at times that it's not been that way, but it's nice to have experience on there, because it's very important. And we also look to those folks, you know, we don't always vote the way they vote, but we always look to them as a guidance to see how other people feel, instead of us just making a decision right off the cuff. So it is important. So, and I know we have to. Sometimes it's been hard to fill it. I know when I went on, they were getting low, and it's sometimes it's been hard to fill planning board members.
Dale, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you tell me we had a couple that were actually leaving the board? We're not gonna stay on?
Yes, Mr. Angel has asked that he not be reappointed.
Okay. So that's another open position. Do we have someone to fill that at this point?
Has anybody? Well, he hadn't left yet.
Correct.
Yeah.
No.
But January.
Well, you got alternates. Remember that.
I understand.
And so, if he leaves, you can.
The alternates should step up.
Well, they will. That's what they're there for.
Right, I understand.
In the past, the town's practice has been to change when their terms expired. But we haven't been in a habit of asking a sitting planning board member or an alternate to reapply every year, because we've already got their application. They've already been through training. We've kind of already been there. So I'm not sure what we're trying to do by making the members resubmit an application when we've already, let's say the alternates, we already have their application. Council's already voted on them one time, and how does it serve the town through this process again?
I infer that staff is just following a policy that council has voted on in the past. Now, does it make good practical sense to fill out another application, or just simply tell the clerk, yeah, I'm interested in joining again, y'all vote me on or don't?
That doesn't preclude the town from accepting new applications from
Right.
anybody that wants to apply.
No.
And may I just add one small bit of information? Usually, we are not given current information. And one of the reasons is just to have a paper trail, what their current contact information is. If they've changed jobs, or if they've changed phone numbers, or whatever the case is. It's just a nice paper trail for the staff to keep up with.
Yeah,
I understand you need that.
But I'm
I also understand it's hard to get applications. So we can always get that information once they get on there, when they're up here, that whoever's doing.
On an application or some other format,
Yeah.
that's just an easy way to get that information.
Yeah.
And find out, and as in Mr. Angel's case, he doesn't want to continue serving.
I don't think he wants to put another application in. Well, I'm just saying.
We'll just,
No, I understand where you're coming from, and I don't disagree.
not trying to make it difficult,
No,
we're just trying to make it
Well,
12.
you'd have to been here before to see how you had to pull IT to get Randy there, he can tell you.
All they have to do is call and say, everything's the same as my other one, and we'll be glad to pull it.
Yeah.
Well, you could contact them and ask them for any updated information without them having to reapply. But I'm also conscious of the board's time, the attorney time, the clerk, the staff time to reprocess something that's already done. And so, unless there's something specific, I'd like to make a motion that we waive any requirement for a sitting member or a current alternate, an existing alternate, to have to reapply, and allow Ms. Martin to ask for any updated information they want to provide.
I'll second that motion.
And then just accept the new applications as
Yes.
they come in,
Certainly.
as you normally would.
Well, you accept them, but I mean, but you nominate, they're nominated to council.
Yeah, well, I don't know that needs to be part of my motion, but if you want me to add that, I will.
I just want to be sure that, no, I agree, it doesn't.
Yeah, let's just split it.
Okay, we've got a first and a second. Vote, Jim?
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Aye?
Timmy?
Aye.
And aye. We now have an opportunity for the citizens' comment, open citizens' comment. Yes, sir.
Don't forget to state your name and address, please.
Mark Nadell, 11 Gale Drive, Stokesdale. I'm on the planning board, I'm a little confused as to who's on the planning board moving forward with the discussion tonight, because we have a meeting next week, and,
No longer. It's not going to happen.
oh, so there is no meeting this coming?
There is no meeting.
If you did, you'd still be eligible.
Okay, so there's no meeting next week, but there will be a meeting in January. So the question is, from what I understand, Bruce Angel's not gonna, I don't think Angel will fill out the application, I think I'm not sure if Mr. Jones, Councilman Jones, will still hold that position. I don't know what the policy is and how that works, whether he can hold both positions or not, but I guess not, because Mr. Louie's gonna take the position now. I don't know if we have enough alternates to fill that extra spot when Mr. Angel isn't here. How many active alternates do we actually have? I don't think we have enough to fill that spot. I think Mr. Louie was the last participating alternate.
Ronald Southern.
Ron Southern is already on the board. I believe Ron got appointed, am I correct? Maybe we can just kind of go through. Again, I'm a little confused who's on the board, so maybe that can be addressed. Maybe I'm missing something. I just want to make sure we have a full 5 planning board members with at least 1 alternate.
You have 4. You have 4 at this time.
So we have 4, and how many alternates do we have?
None of the alternate, well,
We-
Ron Southern has a part.
We just put Steve Louie on for 2 years. So he took Tim's place. Tim can't serve.
So that's 4. That's 4 of us.
Who else did you miss?
We have Stuart Hummel, Mark
We're not.
Bell,
We have Stewart, you.
Jimmy Green?
and Stephen Louis.
Yeah,
What?
that's it.
Stewart, Jimmy Green, Stephen Louie, myself.
Mr. Green hasn't given us any
So
indication.
assuming that Mr. Green is on, that's 4. Who do we have any alternate for besides that, since we moved Stewart?
Bruce is still on.
The list is available from the clerk. I mean, they maintain that record.
Yeah, we'll have a planning board. I mean, you got to have a form of 3, a quorum of 3. So, I mean, we'll, but we don't have it until the next meeting in January. It'll be 2 weeks after the town council meeting. So we'll do what we got to do in January.
There are plenty of alternates, I believe. I was the former chair. Without taking the time to recite all these, the clerk has the list.
I don't have that with me. There's a Michael Threat. My knowledge has not attended since I've been here.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring it up is because I'm not sure how many of those alternates have been participating as audience members in the past. But okay, you got it under control. I was just a little confused with who's the layout. I want to make sure that we're in good shape. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Is there anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Bobby Dalton, I live at 8634 River Church Road, and I have a bit of concern about the property year. I don't know if they're gonna be going up or not, but, I'm just kind of concerned about the amounts that have been, I guess, sent out so far.
You mean for the county?
Yes, sir. Because some of us work, I mean, some of us do work full-time jobs, but some of us don't, so it's like we have to hope we can get together enough to cover how much the property tax is gonna be on our property for next year.
Ms. Dalton, do you mind if I answer that question? To clarify, you're talking about the Guilford County tax?
Yes, sir. The one that always gets sent out in the mail,
Right, right. Right, so, I believe the Board of, Commissioners with Guilford County will start planning for their, next fiscal year budget in the February or March timeframe, and that'll likely be adopted in June. So I don't think any of us at this time will know if, they have any planned tax increase. I do know that, the county's in the process of reevaluating the land and property in all of the county. And if your property goes up, if the value of your property goes up, you will likely be paying more taxes, even if the county did not increase their tax rate. So I understand your concern very much.
Your tax is based on your $100 value, on each $100 of the value of your property.
That's correct.
It's a good thing, Ms. Dalton, that's Guilford County. We don't have any control. I wish we did have some control over Guilford County, but we don't. But the good thing is we don't have a property tax. And unless this bunch up here goes crazy, we shouldn't have one for at least 8 years. So, you know, it won't be us. It'll be the guys and ladies down in Guilford County if they go up. So, but you know, you know, people jump on them too. I mean, jump on them. You're not jumping on us. I'm not taking it that way, but you know, they need to hear that. I mean, because people are scraping by, and this, you know, the people scraping by are the ones that get hurt. And we appreciate you coming in here saying something. We really.
Yeah, that's my main concern.
Yeah.
That, you know, some people can afford to pay, but
Yep.
some people working part-time jobs, it's hard enough to keep, you know, when they got bills coming in, they gotta pay for what they can, and if they can hopefully have enough left over, then cover the property tax.
That's absolutely right. And I wish more people would come stand up like you do and say that, so some of the government officials would be a little easier with their money. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
ma'am. We covered the fact there is no meeting for the planning board for this month. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have closing comments from council.
Oh, okay.
It's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda, but it's.
Cancel comments.
Go ahead.
We can proceed, can't we, sir?
You certainly may.
All right, same order we vote in?
That's fine.
Sure. I'd just like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Participation in government is the backbone of our country, and without you guys, then we wouldn't be up here today. So everybody have a Merry Christmas, be careful, and enjoy the parade.
Yeah, definitely kudos and thank you to all for being here. Merry Christmas, and I also want to recognize the Northwest Guilford Band. I'm not sure if y'all saw on the news or on social media, but those guys performed at the 80th ceremony at Pearl Harbor on the 7th. That's a big deal. They're on a plane right now coming back from Hawaii, so keep those guys in your prayers for safe travels. But what an accomplishment to be at the 80th anniversary, you know, at Pearl Harbor, that our school is there. So.
Jimmy?
I'd like to thank past councils. Our town is run different than, and I don't know of another town is ran fiscally conservative as we are. We are in the position we are, and the audit that we had tonight was a result of the past councils, the things that they've done, and we've been able to carry on. And I hope that we'll have the good common sense and everything to continue that to where, you know, when we leave here, we'll leave the next council in the same shape we're in. Because if they hadn't done the work over the last 30 years, we wouldn't be in this position, to do this. And the town does good. We've got assets, we got a park. I know it's not an Olympic stadium or anything like that, but, we've got these things, and it's been done, and we're not hitting the taxpayers up. I mean, this is tax money. It is coming from somewhere, but we don't hit the property, the property tax. So I'd like to thank past councils and wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and thanks for coming out.
Mr. Jones?
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody that voted for me. I'm humbled by the confidence that those people have placed in me by doing so. For those that didn't vote for me, and you know who you are, I hope to win over your confidence as well, or at least we can get to the point where we agree that there may be a few things we don't agree about, but we still have the best interest of the town at heart. And like Mr. Foy, I would ask that we all remember the veterans that have passed and are still with us from Pearl Harbor, December the 7th. I think it's often too easy for us to forget our history and not learn from it. And lastly, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
I'd like to thank everyone for the turnout. I was very, very pleased. I'm honored to be in this position, and it's going to get good. It's going to get better, I can assure you, if I have anything to do with it. Thank you. Thank you all. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Got a first and a second. Jim?
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And I also. Thank you all.
Very much.
Any seconded. Did Tim make it?
You didn't get one earlier?
Yes, I'm famous for that.
Yeah.
We were out here earlier. Guys?
Dale.
Jim? Jim, before you get away, she'd like to have a group picture of us, all of us. Good.
Are we gonna be sitting or standing?
I think we're going to be standing.
Well, I thought we'd already took it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if I can keep these long-winded guys from being so long.
It'll save attorney time.